doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm okay. Cincinnati's got a new OC. I know it's a guy that's been there for like 5 or 6 seasons with them, so probably not a lot different. But have you noticed any tweaks, anything they're doing differently on offense from what they were doing last year?
A lot of similarities. Like you said, he's been there and a big part of their offense in the past. So didn't expect much change and haven't seen much change. Obviously, the quarterback and his skill set might create the biggest differences. And you just build it around what that position can do the best. So he's a very, very talented football player. So that's probably the biggest change in regards to that. But schematically, structurally, the things that they do, the style of play, and what they're doing, within their system is pretty consistent.
Hey, Zach and Dustin.
I guess, Tom, just an update on Zach, I guess, both for this game and if you think it maybe is kind of a bridge too far for him this weekend, just kind of where is he at in dealing with his hand thing?
Yeah, he's getting closer. So we're going to monitor him through the weekend here to see if we can get any snaps out of him on Saturday. So, but bottom line is it's not going to be a long-term thing either way. So hope to get him back. If we don't get him back Saturday, hope to get him back soon.
Dustin and Mike.
Hey, Tom. I guess on the flip side, how are they just different on defense? Obviously, they lost a lot of talent. Last year, sent a lot of guys to the NFL. Do they? I'm sure they're generally schematically the same, but how do they function differently with personnel?
Yeah, you're on point. Schematically, it's the same, and you're going to tweak things every year. Per your skills of your guys and what they do really well, and so they obviously had some very, very highly talented players on defense last year, but it's like I said, testament to their program and their development and their recruiting, where they've got guys to step in there, new faces, but doing a lot of the same things and doing it with a high level of execution and, playing a good number of guys, and they play hard and they're physical and they tackle well. So don't see a lot different structurally. But like you said, it's a game of trying to find those spots where you feel like you can, take advantage of, with a different team, whether it's both in scheme and personnel. And so it's no different this year, just same as we tried last year and did some good things with them last year, just didn't protect the football very well and didn't execute at critical times in the score zone. So, but the bottom line is that very talented football team on offense and defense and special teams.
Mike and Jeff.
Yeah, hey, Coach, the Cincinnati game last year was such a turning point in the season, obviously. I'm curious if you've used that this week, if it's come up, and is there any risk with the players almost being like too motivated to try to prove a point about last year's game rather than being focused on this one?
No, we really haven't talked a lot about last year's game. Obviously, you just go through and it was a pivotal game without question, but more focused on the response to some of our own mistakes, with turning the ball over on the goal line and not protecting the football, in the throw game and just not finishing drives, those kind of things you learn from, but and just be able to handle, adversity when it's thrown at you as a football team. So that's kind of been the focus, but at the same time, it's the biggest game of the season because it's the next one. And we have a ton of respect for them. We just feel like we're just playing a 10th Big Ten game is what it is for us. So they're a program that's got themselves in that position. And so that's how we approach them. So our guys are excited to go on the road for the first time and to be tested, to be challenged, to be able to see how much better our opponent can make us.
Jeff and Tyler.
Hey, Tom. It seems like Cincinnati has a pretty strong combination of some smaller and faster receivers and then also some big, tall, athletic tight ends. Just can you talk about the challenge that brings of having to guard just guys that are kind of different and more versatile with the things that they throw at you just from a size perspective?
Yeah, it does. And you kind of have, that kind of a room is what you like to have is, the variations of skill sets, so you just have different guys that can do different things and create different issues for you, whether it's length, which they have at both receiver and at the tight end position, as you mentioned, and then the speed of their receivers as well, which is always difficult. So, but the reality is we see a lot of that. Saw it last week, we saw it, first week of the season as well. Had some really good receivers week too also, but and in our conference, we're going to see that combination of length and speed, maybe from some different guys. Sometimes it's the same guy, which is even more difficult, but they've done a good job in that area. And, speed and length are two things we're looking to have in our program as well. And they've done a good job finding those guys.
Tyler and Zach.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. I was curious about Brian Fitzgerald. Obviously, been a guy that's been around the program for a while. I guess what has just stood out to you, kind of from his journey at IU and how he's kind of developed over the years?
Fitzy's a special guy. A lot of love and respect from me for him because of what he's been through. He came here, if you might recall, and just some things of no fault of his own, had to sit out that first year and just took it like an absolute, stud and just responded in the right way and developed. He's been here now for many years and just has been such a pivotal and critical. I call him a cornerstone guy for this program. Just been so steady. He can play so many different positions. He's a good tackler. He creates takeaways. He's got a nose for the ball, feel for the ball. Great attitude. Works so hard. Fun to be around. Great teammate. Unselfish. Like I said, he'll just play whatever position we ask him to play. And he's played so many for us. And guys like that are just so valuable. So we mentioned other guys that are key to our team this year, but he's right there at the top, and just really proud of him and be able to see his success this year already, and the ability for him to make plays for us. So, but he's smart, tough, dependable, and I keep saying those qualities. That's what we're looking for in players and guys that can do multiple things and be involved in special teams. He's all of those things, and so he's going to be a big part of our game on Saturday and moving forward. And so I'm excited for him to have a great sixth and final season here in Indiana because he's earned it.
Zach Freshman.
Tom, I guess circling back to just sort of Zach and Caleb, I recognize you will have had an idea of what Caleb was capable of from playing him at guard in the spring, through the summer into fall camp, moving him, kind of him making that full transition to center. But after a game like Saturday, do you maybe think you've got more flexibility either in if Zach can play, putting him at guard where I know he's played before, or if you want Zach over the ball, then you feel like maybe you can trust Caleb a little bit more at guard just because you've now seen him in, a competitive game and in that kind of that pressure environment?
Yeah, I think that's a really good analysis of the situation, because we got several guys now that have played center and can play center. What you're looking for is, just like I mentioned with Fitz, I think you want that flexibility on the offensive line. We got several guys that can play center or guard, and the goal is to get the best combination. And then you obviously work guys. That way you create depth for your team when things happen during games, and you got to have, because the center is such a big deal because of, number one, he's touching the ball every snap, number one. And number two is the communication piece and the way he runs so many things for our offense. So to be able to have multiple guys, and now you got Caleb in that mix that's played meaningful snaps and has done a great job. So definitely gives us more flexibility moving forward. We're going to have to look at that and evaluate, because the goal is always to get the best 5 guys on the field, whoever that might be, each and every week.
Nice, thanks, Tom.
Awesome. Have a great day, Elia.